जय भीम। वक्त बहुत बीत चुका है। काफ़ी वक्त आप सब लोग यहाँ पे बहुत देर से बैठे हुए हैं। हमारे आज के वक्ता जिन्होंने अमूमन सारी बातें आप सबके सामने रखी है, और ख़ास करके बेजवाड़ा सर ने जो जिस तरीके से, जिस ताकत से आज का ये जो निज़ाम है, आज की जो ये सत्ता है, और इसका जो एक वायलेंट रूप है, हमारे सामने रखा। प्रोफेसर दीपा श्रीनिवास मैम ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से बाबा साहब का जो इन्फ्लुएंस था ऑफ डेवियन प्रैग्मेटिज्म वो हमारे सामने रखा। एंड देन शी टोल्ड अस दैट व्हाई बाबा साहब केम एट द कंक्लूजन कि किसी भी राजनीतिक लोकतंत्र के लिए सामाजिक लोकतंत्र कितना ज़रूरी होता है उसको ज़िंदा रखने के लिए। बहुत ही खूबसूरती से हमारे सामने किरण ने बहुत सही तरीके से, खुले रूप से आज की सत्ता और उसका जो एक पितृसत्ता जो उसका नेचर है और जो गवर्नमेंट का कैसा पार्ट बना है हम हमारे सामने रखा। और साथ ही साथ सुजाता, मैं उनको मैम नहीं कहूँगा, शी इज़ अ सिस्टर इन अ मूवमेंट, शी इज़ अ कॉमरेड इन अ मूवमेंट। और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने हमारे मूवमेंट का जो एक कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन है वो हमारे सामने रखा, वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। और साथ ही साथ हमारे जो विजय भाई है, जिन्होंने बहुत सही तरीके से बाबा साहब का या एक जो एंटीकास्ट डिस्कोर्स है, हमारी लेगेसी है, एएसए का जो डिस्कोर्स है वो हमारे सामने रखा। तो मेरे पास बहुत ज़्यादा आपको बताने के लिए नहीं है, और जैसे मैंने कहा वक्त बहुत बीता है। आप सभी लोग, कुछ लोग, अगर सभी नहीं तो कुछ लोग थक गए होंगे, कुछ लोगों को हो सकता है कि जोर की भूख लगी हो या किसी को आराम भी करना हो। लेकिन कुछ चंद बातें मैं आपके सामने रखूँगा, सिंस मैं भी खास करके जो स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स या स्टूडेंट एक्टिविज़म में इन्वॉल्व है यहाँ पे, उस तरीके से मैं भी कभी जब जेएनयू में एमफिल पीएचडी कर रहा था तो जो हमारा संगठन है और तब भी जो था, बिरसा फुले अंबेडकर स्टूडेंट एसोसिएशन जेएनयू, जिसमें मुझ जैसे तमाम दबे कुचले समाज से आने वाले स्टूडेंट्स जो थे, जिन्होंने एक ऐसे कैंपस में जहाँ पे क्लासरूम में नेहरू को पंडित नेहरू कहा जाता था और बाबा साहब को केवल अंबेडकर के नाम से पुकारा जाता था, या फिर बाबा साहब को केवल 14 अप्रैल के दिन याद किया जाता था, ऐसे कैंपस में वहाँ का चाहे वामपंथ हो चाहे एबीवीपी का वामपंथ हो, उन दोनों को बाबा साहब की जय जयकार करने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। इस तरीके से उस कैंपस में एक आंदोलन चला और उसका एक बहुत बड़ा इंस्पिरेशन यहाँ का अंबेडकर स्टूडेंट एसोसिएशन था। सो आई रियली वुड लाइक टू थैंक एएसए फॉर sustaining this movement, for making not just me but so many students who come from marginalized section, उनको ये बताने के लिए कि जब हम कैंपस के भीतर आते हैं तो ये कैंपस जो है केवल एक जाति का नहीं, किसी एक धर्म का नहीं, किसी एक जेंडर का नहीं, या किसी एक अथॉरिटी का नहीं। तो ये कैंपस जो है एक ऐसा गुलदस्ता होना चाहिए कि जहाँ पर अनेक प्रकार के विचार और अनेक प्रकार की आवाज़ें हो सकती है। ये हौसला देना मेरे ख्याल से एएसए जैसे संगठन ने बहुत सही तरीके से किया है। आई डोंट नो लाइक इफ एवरीवन फॉलोज हिंदी, बट इफ आई स्पीक इन इंग्लिश कंटिन्यूसली, आई डोंट नो इफ आई एम एबल टू मेक माई पॉइंट विच आई रियली वांट टू मेक, बट एनीवे आई विल ट्राई माई बेस्ट टू स्पीक इन इंग्लिश so that those who do not follow Hindi can understand what exactly I really want to say today. So yes, of course, what Baba Saheb said when he was giving the Indian Constitution to the newborn post-colonial Indian democracy. When he said that when I'm giving this constitution, he also warned us saying that we are also entering into a life of contradiction, right? Where he said, and he told us, on the one hand, you will have one vote, one value. I mean, the today's Ambani, और जो अंबानी की बिल्डिंग के एंटीरा के नीचे जो झोपड़पट्टी में एक औरत रहती है, जो किसी के घर में झाड़ू पोछा करती है, उसके भी वोट का जो है एक ही वैल्यू होगा. एंड दिस लुक्स क्वाइट रोजी एंड क्वाइट रेवोल्यूशनरी ऑल्सो. दिस फर्स्ट assertion of the political democracy. But then the second assertion which he makes, that there will be the inequality in the realm of economy and in the society. And that second assertion of him simply did not become true. But that second assertion has become the internal ethos of ruling caste and ruling class in India. However, we as an anti-caste force, we as a progressive force, not just, let's say, Dalit, but also the other organization, movement and ideologies. Of course, they kept saying that we do not have a social democracy, but somehow we also internalize that it is only the political democracy, it is only the parliamentary democracy which can do something good to us. And because of that very precise reason, somewhere I believe, we stopped to generate or to build the social movement beyond the electoral politics. And now therefore, what I believe और what I think sometime, कि यदि बाबा साहेब हम आज के वक्त में होते, it's just the imagination, if he would have been alive here, और ये वो विटनेस करते कि अपने घर दादर जहां पे उनका घर है राजगृह, जब वो 2 कदम आगे चलते उस दादर की हिंदू कॉलोनी से जो ब्राह्मणों का गढ़ है, तो वो ये देखते कि एक बड़ी बिल्डिंग है, जगमगाती चमकती हुई एक बिल्डिंग है, और उस बिल्डिंग में लिखा हुआ है, एक प्राइवेट अस्पताल का नाम लिखा हुआ है, और वो अस्पताल इतना चमक रहा है रात दिन, और ये वादा करता है कि यहां पर आप आओगे तो आपको जो है केयर मिलेगा, आपको सब फैसिलिटीज मिलेगी. नाउ व्हेन आई एम सेइंग दिस, so he would not have simply told us that this building is shining and giving us guarantee that if you enter in this building, you will be saved with all facilities and with all technologies and with all resources. No. He would have said that this building represents the violence. एक जो बड़ा मॉल आपके सड़क पर कई किनारे पे खड़ा है और उसके सामने जो बड़ी कारें लगी हुई है, वो केवल आपको ये नहीं बताता है कि ये मॉल चमक रहा है, वो आपको ये भी बताता है कि एक बड़ा तबका है इस देश में, जो आज का भारत का कम से कम 60 से 70% तबका है, कि वो अपने बेसिक अनाज या बेसिक जरूरतों को पूरा नहीं कर सकता है. एंड दैट मॉल, दैट बिल्डिंग इज नॉट सिंपली शाइनिंग, एज आई सेड, Baba Saheb would have said, this is the violence. And in today's time, the ethics of violence, although there is a history of violence, but the ethics of violence has changed. Now, for instance, how? हिंसा जो है, हम इस देश में देखते हैं कि जब कोई फासिस्ट राइट विंग, हिंदुत्व राइट विंग किसी मुसलमान के घर में जाके उसको मारते हैं, उसकी जान लेते हैं, केवल इतने भर शक से कि उसके फ्रिज में बीफ रखा हुआ है. एंड व्हेन दे एक्ट और व्हेन दे परफॉर्म दिस एक्ट ऑफ वायलेंस, दे डू नॉट सिंपली परफॉर्म द एक्ट ऑफ वायलेंस, दे एक्ट इन द बिहाफ ऑफ रिलीजियस ऑथोरिटी, राइट? दे से We are acting in the behalf of religion, in the behalf of a larger cause. When so-called dominant caste or upper caste kills Dalit, they simply do not say the one thing that we are beating you. They basically say we are doing it in the behalf of the authority, the divine authority that we got from our scriptures, from the caste system which legitimates. So for violence, you need authority. I mean, when man in the domestic life violently suppress or he beats his wife, he simply does not perform the act of violence, but he also invokes the authority, and that authority lies into the larger structure of a morality. कि तू भाई इतने छोटे कपड़े पहन के या तू इतने रात भर कहाँ पे थी. So whenever you bring the act of violence, you invoke the authority. So now these are the traditional structures. For instance, my friend Donald Trump in US, when he is white, narcissist, people, when they bring the act of racism violently, they do not simply bring the act of violence. They also invoke the authority that white race is the superior and the original and pure race. So whenever you bring the act of violence, you need authority to justify that act of violence. But now in today's time, in this time of political correctness, where Brahmin, polite Brahmin or polite upper caste would argue that I am not casteist, I eat with Dalit. Right? I am not casteist, I sing with Dalit. You know, I am all pro-tribe because I also dance with tribe when they do their cultural activity. I also wear their clothes. You know, or in the time of this political correctness, where one model walks on the ramp, she talks about feminism. And what she says when they ask them, all these beauty pageant, when they ask them, what do you want to give a message to all these women there? So this beautiful lady says, so-called beautiful lady, believe in yourself. If you just, you know, if some people who are into fashion, and if you see the narrative that they, propagate, what do they say? वो ये कहते हैं, जब भी ये जो विश्व सुंदरियाँ बनती है, या देश की सुंदरियाँ बनती है, ये feminist, and you cannot separate now. Now some people say, oh, this is not a feminism. But what I'm saying, this is only the feminism that exists in India, everywhere, not just in India, but everywhere. Other form of feminism has just become the small act of resistance in the gender study department, or in some, let's say in some small corners of cities. And when she says कि मेरा ये मैसेज है सभी औरतों के लिए कि believe in yourself, as if the majority of women, not just in India, but across the different countries, are punished for not believing in themselves. यानी 70% औरतें अगर गरीब है तो वो इसीलिए गरीब है क्योंकि they don't believe in themselves. So in this time of political correctness, where even right-wing people would say that, oh, see, we too have a tribal president. While having the tribal president, you finish the forest, you suppress all dissent coming from tribes, and even you kill them. While having a Dalit president, you make sure that if there is a Dalit atrocity, the other Dalit comes and says, or justifies, कि हमें तो मंदिर में नहीं क्यों जाना है, क्यों धर्म की अवहेलना करना है. So this is how the political correctness has now become the part and parcel of the present regime. And what you see, the violence, the traditional violence, where one man beats the rich man beats poor, or the upper caste beats lower caste, or the man beats his woman, and so on. This is one traditional form of violence that you see, but then there is another form of violence which exists with this political correctness. So for instance, if you see these ads on during Diwali, ये दिवाली में ad आपने देखा है? हाँ या ना? Have you seen these ads during Diwali? This family comes and this guy, he is just jumping here and there, and then mother says, "Beta, you know, I mean, we celebrate Diwali by giving some sweet, some clothes to our maid." And now that word also maid, you know, I'll be called out because I said maid, because now there is a word staff. Give them a dignity. Don't increase their salary. Give them a dignity. So this is the discourse now. Now for instance, if you work in a corporate, your boss will say, तुम्हारे खांधे पे हाथ रख के कहेगा वो, अरे, you know, don't call me sir, call me Rahul. But he will not increase your salary. Right? But this is how the system exists now. So as I said, there is one form of violence that exists with the traditionality, and then there is the other form of violence which exists with this political correctness, which has become a new commodity to survive. Everything exists in the same way. I mean, yesterday I was in Bangalore, and I visited my old friend from Bangalore, one of Bangalore slum, and I asked him कि ये झोपड़पट्टी आपकी कितने साल पुरानी है? And then he said, must be around 40-50 years. And it's one of the old slum in the city. And I said, how about the mobility? Is there a mobility? I mean, the people from this group, you know, the significant number have shifted to so-called colonies and other things. So they said it happened. But it happened till 90s. When the state would give the free education, and that free word is not free. I mean, it's a state responsibility. When there would be the government school nearby the slum, when there would be the government hospital nearby the slum, when there would be, you know, the different, let's say, the welfare policies of nearby the slum, or when there was reservation in a sense कि चलो पूरा implement नहीं कर रहे थे, but there was reservation, and the privatization was not that rapidly happening. So people could have some hope. The hope that, okay, if I study little hard, I can get into medical, I can get into engineering, I can get into, you know, other profession, and at least, you know, I can mobile myself. Now since post 90s, that number has decreased significantly. If you even check number or recent, you know, the unemployment report through the caste lens, which one of, you know, Ajim Premji also produced that report, that सबसे ज़्यादा educated unemployment वो scheduled caste और scheduled tribe के अंदर है. So if you check such reports, or even the wealth inequality data, which has been produced by Thomas Piketty project in the context of India, caste and wealth, you see that the post 90s the situation has changed. The real condition is जैसे हम थे, the way we were, that we were struggling for basic thing. Somehow, once again, we are coming very close to struggle for the basic things. Because the state has actually withdrawn. But state has not just actually withdrawn. Or let's say the ruling caste state has not just actually withdrawn. The ruling caste state has also produced a very rosy discourse. I mean, I cannot simply come and just give you, you know, the tight slap. If I have to do that, I have to also say sorry to you, you know, after doing that. So that there is a balance. So how this balance is now they are maintaining. So now what are they saying? They are saying, you can dream about anything. Like earlier, I am from Maharashtra, and in Maharashtra, many of the public speakers, when they give speech to the community, they would invoke Baba Saheb's statement, where Baba Saheb said, when the Brahmin women give birth to children, she will think that, you know, her children or her son, daughter will become the magistrate of the court. But when Dalit women gives birth to the child, she will think he or she will become, you know, the Sapai Karmachari, the sweeper, or get the permanent job. And therefore Baba Saheb said, okay, you have to change this thinking. I'm saying that era has done. We have changed our thinking. What Baba Saheb told us, we have changed our thinking, but now the question is that they are simply saying, You can dream about becoming magistrate or collector, but you actually cannot become. So this is actually the classical case of freedom without justice. So children in my slum, now they have a freedom. Even the daughter of rickshaw puller can dream and want to dream that she too can be, the pilot, she too can be doctor and engineer. But in actual structural condition, she actually cannot become a doctor. Because the government school where she would get the free education, where her mother can work whole day, or maybe let's say for 8 hours or 10 hours, her father can also work and make sure that she gets education. Now that system has collapsed. I come from a state, a so-called progressive state, under now the BJP rule. It basically has closed down the lakhs of government school. Lakhs of government school. And when you close down the government school, what do? जिस सरकारी स्कूल में गरीब के बच्चे पढ़ते थे, अभी वहां पे प्राइवेट स्कूल है और एक बनिया उसको चलाता है और वो बनिया मांगता है पैसा, फीस. और वो बनिया को अगर तुमने पैसा नहीं दिया तो वो तुम्हारे बच्चे को कहता है कल से आना नहीं. So then there is huge political correctness where you see women coming on the television talking about how the freedom is important. The Dalits are coming and saying, oh, like showing their assertion. Even the state celebrating Ambedkar and so on, and the tribal becoming the president and everything is happening. On the other hand, there is nothing in a sense. There is a void. There is a huge void. There exists nothing structural that actually help Dalits, Adivasis, and even OBC for that matter, to basically have some kind of mobility. Now I see many of my friends who passed out, who completed their PhD, and not just from the local universities, but so-called renowned universities. They are struggling, and there is simply, the person who is supposed to do research, get, let's say in today's time, 50,000, 1 lakh to survive, his family or her family, and can produce a good knowledge for a community or for the liberation of a community, is bound to survive for 20 or 25,000 rupees. And this is not just about one state. This is now the national phenomena. And yes, अगर आपको फिर जॉब चाहिए तो फिर टीका लगाना पड़ेगा. फिर वो आपको कहाँ जाना है आप सबको पता है कि जॉब चाहिए तो फिर हमारे यहाँ नागपुर में भी आना पड़ेगा. और वो आपको that drama is going on everywhere. Maybe यहाँ पे भी हो रहा होगा. The recruitments happening on that line. That if you belong to RSS, and very clearly, if you belong to RSS, BJP, you will get a job. If you do not belong to that ideology, तो आप अगर job पे हो, so you will face the trouble. And if you actually want a job, then you have to submit yourself there. So anyways, what I'm trying to say, कि ये जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, ये मैं केवल आपको निराश करने के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. मैं ये बोल इसीलिए रहा हूँ कि जब मैं ASA का इतिहास पढ़ रहा था, so when ASA was born, ASA was not born out of a celebration. ASA was born out of accepting the vulnerable condition of Dalits. And if today in this time where the Brahmin Baniya in the form of RSS and BJP, oh, I'll finish. How much time I have? Sir, okay. Can I take 5 minutes? Okay, thank you. So yes, in this time where the Brahmin, Baniya and other dominant caste who have become the very inseparable part of our Indian state and government, when they have captured the complete power, when you see when the ASA president comes on this dais and tells us that someone has not just audacity, but even think like this, that they can say someone Dalit, Harijan, they can abuse in a campus like SCU. This is not, and this will not even go by saying same. Shame is a very smallest thing to do. I am asking you that why there is no fear in their mind. One reason could be that the system is with them. That the system is completely with them. The vice chancellor is with them. The must be the local MLA, MP, or the central government is with them. But isn't it the situation even then when the AAC was formed? But isn't it the situation when Dalit Panther was formed? Or isn't it this was the same situation where any oppressed movement was formed? But when they formed this movement, when they chose to build the movement, they did not choose the cynicism, the act as an act of resistance. They chose the resistance as a method, eye to eye. They said, if you do this thing to us, you will face the repercussion. And exactly in this time, when ASA or any other progressive organization in this campus, who is facing the onslaught of this, the system, the government, and this regime, if not everyone, because university is also, like, although people say university is a very revolutionary space, but my experience tells me the university is the least, revolutionary space. It is basically illusion. Like what Robert Space said, revolution without revolution. Here you talk about revolution, you can even bring the revolution, but that revolution will never come. But anyway, with all our limitation, those who are committed to the thought, those who are committed to the marginalized communities, even within ASA must be, let's say, there must be 100 students who are official member of ASA. But in any organization, there are only few people who take the lead of the organization. So my request to those who are into leadership, that you do one thing. Either you confront your enemy the way your enemy is choosing to confront you. I mean, if some upper caste is saying or giving abuse in the name of caste in your campus, and if you think only saying shame on you will do, it will never do, because they know it. कि ये लोग का ऐसा ही है, इनको मारो पीटो, ये लोग आएगा, हो हल्ला करेगा, वापस चला जाएगा, अगले दिन हम वही करेंगे. Because now they also are acquainted with the system. Now if those who are in leadership, if you really want that it should not repeat, or even if it repeat, people should think twice, then the leadership has to take a very strong decision for themselves also and for organization. And with the awareness that the system is not with you. And no movement can be led, or no movement has been led by any leader or any organization without this commitment and sacrifice. If you are ready to sacrifice, then it's good. Otherwise, let's say we are all progressive, anti-caste, Ambedkarite, or also doing the dance party. If you are doing that, then why these speeches? I would have been more happy to dance on Ambedkar song on DJ. Why this drama? Are we pretending to talk about social justice? Are we pretending not just to other, but we are also pretending to ourselves? Because the pretense is very important to survive in the time when there is a huge crisis. Last line I will say, that when I read Baba Saheb takes, The Broken Man, where he talk about the origin of untouchability and the anthropological analysis, that how he argues that across the societies, one group has invaded another group, and one group has, colonized another group. But why that the untouchability only came in India and sustained for such a long time? And he then anthropologically he gives the answer that it is because, three logic he gives, but one is also he gives the logic that because of, they were follower of Buddhism, and the Brahmin had the contempt for Buddhism. But in that entire analysis, one thing is very important, which I feel is very close to my heart, is this. When one group invades another group, that group simply do not kill your culture. Simply do not snatch your women in traditional sense, in the anthropological sense. Do not simply seize your property. But you know what that group do? That group also leaves you only with one feeling. That feeling that you cannot become evil. The most basic act of human being is not simply have the karuna or the love, but also to have the sense of being evil. With the oppressed, let's say in the Nietzschean sense, what they have snatched from us, the right to being evil to them. The right to be evil. And what we have convinced ourselves, that is only with invoking the guilt of the oppressor we will win this battle. No, you will not even able to protect that, the most violent case or the violence that is happening in front of you. My only request to you, to the poor, working class, Dalits, Adivasis, OBCs, who are in this movement, do not to be good to your enemy. You have to become evil to evil. And that is how this evil of caste will end. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim.